Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Taino Sagrado from the mountains of Nahuatl and Arayeke, and now the TainoFunHouse. I'd like to thank Sanakori for giving me this beautiful show to teach all the children out there, the youth, the teenagers, young adults, and especially all those young in your heart. That's beautiful. So, today I want to teach you the 10 values of the ancient ones, our ancient Taino, that, believe it or not, 500 years ago, they were all over the islands before the invasion of 1492. But the good news is that we're still all over the islands, and many of us stay quiet about it, but many of us proclaim it that the Taino is still here. So I want to teach you 10 values that, believe it or not, Christopher Columbus, the invader in 1492, representing the Spanish Empire, guess what? He wrote a lot of interesting things about our ancestors. And I'm going to break it up into 10, what I call the 10 principles of living as a Taino. So if you practice these 10 principles, these 10 values, which is rooted in morality, the morals, constructive living, guess what? You might even act the same way our ancestors did, okay? And hey, I'll give kudos to Columbus. Thank you, wherever you are, Columbus. Thank you for writing this stuff down so we can learn and practice it. Give us a big favor. So, point number one, value number one, principle number one is your heart, your spirit, your home, your space has to be in peace. That is the goal, is to be a peaceful person, not a person of destruction, but a person of kindness. And this is, believe it or not, Columbus wrote this in his journal. He said, my God, I've never been a people more in Dios, in God, you know? Very amazing. I just want to add something. A lot of people say that Columbus said Indians or Indios. There's a lot of theories about that. In Dios, in God. You know, they were so peaceful and loving. They were in God, with God, or like God. But also, check this out. A lot of people say Indios referring to Indians. India. Now, history says that Christopher Columbus got lost. He was going to the east looking for food, and he ended up in the Caribbean west. So he got lost. So with our peaceful hearts, we greeted him, and the rest is history. Principle number two, value number two. Ready for this? Hospitality. And what does that mean? Hospitality, it means to give, to welcome, and to give more. Okay, so we're happy when we see the stranger. We're happy when we meet someone new. Okay, so this is what hospitality, and believe it or not, a lot of tourists that go to the Caribbean, like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Cuba, all these major islands, Bahamas, they always say that the people are very hospitable. They share, you know. Guess where they get that from? That's the second value. That's right, hospitality. Now, number three, Columbus wrote about love, okay? About how much they love each other in a sense of helping one another, I guess laughing and joking around, you know, doing different things together. There was a lot of love for neighbor. So he didn't see a lot of backstabbing. He didn't see a lot of that stuff. So he wrote they were very loving people towards one another. And also, number five, check this out. Number four value is that they were also loving in a community way, as a tribe. And they respected and loved the other tribes. And when there were issues, I'm gonna explain, that's principle number 10. When there were issues, they had something cool they did. So I'll talk about that in number 10. So there was a lot of respect for community life. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about you. It was about us. And he really appreciated that, Columbus. Okay, So principle or value number 5, and this one is a lot of indigenous peoples throughout the West, they recognize this as part of our intergenerational trauma, is that we were stripped away from the earth, the environment, when our ancestors became slaves and they were forced to do certain things against their will. They stripped us of our relationship from the earth as mother, Atabe. So very important, and I want to talk about this in the future, but that whole value, that whole principle of being in harmony with the earth, very, very crucial. Okay? And number 6, value principle number 6, our ancestors did their best to grow food so people can eat. And they took care of the earth. They took care of the soil so it has nutrients. Okay? Master farmers. They looked at the stars, the planets. They knew when they grow the yucca, when not to. The seasonal foods, all connected to the earth and to the cosmos. That's amazing. Think about that. That's a powerful value to be sustainable. To sustaining not just for me and my neighbor, but for the future children that are not born yet. Leave it for them nice and clean. Okay. The 7th principle is respect for the ancestors. So when mom and dad, grandpa, grandma, when they die, it doesn't end. One thing is that we continue to remember the goodness that they shared with us. And also we know that they go to the spirit world. Okay? So it's a big mystery what goes on in the spirit world. But one of the values that we have is we honor the ancestors and we honor that spirit world where they are now. Okay? Very important, that value as a Taino is that we honor the ancestors. We recall the stories and we share it. Principle number 8. And this principle is very difficult. In 2025, I'm doing this video and there's a lot of turmoil in the world. There's a lot of stuff we see in the news related to the politics, especially how the poor people are going to suffer and have begun to suffer, especially those that don't have any paperwork saying that they should be living in America, that we call migrants. They come for work and they're being forced out. So our ancestors had a solution for this. It's called social order. Okay? And the order in society was based on us, we, not you or me. It was all about the unit, the teamwork, the tribe. Okay? So that's very important. There was a chief or a main leader, and he made sure that the other leaders, the other sub-chiefs, did their job. And what was the jobs? To make sure people are doing what they need to do to keep the tribe alive and well. So we got the farmers, we got the artists, the fisher people. Hey, everyone has a role. Isn't that amazing? No matter how young or old you are. I was reading recently that the children used to hunt food as well, and they used to take these gourds, and they were these nice big gourds, and they'll put it on their head, and they will go in the water. They'll take a straw, and so they can breathe, and then as they stood there, there was these water birds will come and they'll fall right on the gourd, right? They were underneath the gourd, and they would just grab their feet. And many of these birds were for pets, like parrots, or they were for food. Again, it's a different time period. It's based on nature. So the children, the adults, everyone did their job. And that's social order. Also the vejiques, the spiritual people, helped the people out as well. So everyone had a role. The naburillas, the workers, the artists, everyone had a beautiful job to do to maintain the tribe. Okay, point number 9, value. Principle number 9 is that we let the women lead. The matrilineal society is based on the women, the moms and the grandmas, the great grandmas. Hey, they're in charge. And and they let us know how can we keep the society orderly. Okay, so they're the foundation, is the women, and this is what our ancestors understood. So we have to try very hard 2025 to honor women. Okay, and this is an ongoing struggle in the Caribbean and back in the world. You know, a lot of women are not safe. A lot of women are not given their equal rights. So we have to honor our women. And principle number 10, I like this one. This is where the TainoFunHouse comes in. Is recreation, right? And the arts. Our ancestors, Columbus wrote about this, that our art was one of the best he's ever seen in the history at that time in the High Middle Ages. The carving techniques, which was mostly done by the women. Beautiful, beautiful. Also, we used to have public dances, and we used to have public sports. And the dancing was called arretos, and we're going to talk about that in the future. And then the games were the batu games, the ball game. And when you had issues with somebody, you're not so happy, maybe a tribe, another tribe, they were colliding, they would play the batu game. Okay, and that's, I think everyone wins because no one dies, no one gets hurt. And at the end, hey, we played in front of the Creator, and it's beautiful. So this whole principle and value number 10 is to have fun. It's to have fun. So let me review right now. Peace in your heart, hospitality, welcome people, and also give them gifts. We got love towards your neighbor, your relatives, your friends. Also love for the community, that we keep everything tight, we keep everything together. Wow. And then we got number 5, which is love for the environment, keeping harmony with the earth as our mother. And then sustainability, how to use the earth, not to exploit it or damage it, poison it, but how can we grow food, not just for us, but for the future generations. Also, number 7, respect the ancestors, respect the spirit world. We're not alone. There's physical and there's spiritual worlds, and we have to respect each. Also, the social order, we had the caciques, the leaders, very organized. Why was this leadership important? Because it kept people together. It kept people happy. Number 9, we allow the women to lead the way, to advise us, to show us how to live a constructive life. And that's matrilineal society. Amazing. And then last but not least, let's have fun. Just like the TainoFunHouse, recreation and the arts is something to beautiful. And there's no accident that in Borinquen, in Quisqueya, all throughout the islands is beautiful musicians and singers and dancers. Man, it's in the blood. So this is Taino Sagrado, straight out of 2025, far away from 1492. But guess what? Taino Sagrado has a message for all of you, is that we are still here. See you soon.